So the thing about it is that on Sunday, I was doing something with George in the kitchen. I was like, oh, I'm going to get my truffles made now. It's a few days before we shoot. And like, this is great. I'm going to be way ahead. And then I'd made the truffles and I never filmed it. Coming up on Need to Know, Galentine's Day celebrations, the perfect box of chocolates, and baking desserts for two. That and everything else you need to know. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Need to Know. I'm Gemma Stafford, cookbook author, professional chef, and the creator of Bigger Bolder Baking. And as always, I'm joined by my two lovely ladies, Ami Shukla, who is the culinary director here at Bigger Bolder Baking, and Tianna Cohen, who is an amateur baker and a professional host.
Hello.
Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Hey, I'm so excited to be here. As you can see, we are having our very own Galentine's Day party here at Need to Know, which is super exciting. Because Valentine's Day is actually just around the corner. So I thought we could just jump into Hot from the Oven. We're going to start with talking about Galentine's Day. So for those of you who don't know, Galentine's Day kind of started because of a very popular TV show, Parks and Rec, which stars Amy Poehler. And it's Galentine's Day, which is February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, for ladies loving on ladies. In my own terms, like celebrating women. So since we are an all-woman podcast here, we're celebrating it early. They didn't know I was going to say that.
No, just in case you didn't notice, we don't have scripts. So now I'm thinking maybe we should.
I went off script. I went off the page here. So, why celebrate Galentine's Day? It's to really appreciate all the women in your life and have moments for the girls, which is super popular on TikTok. You see Galentine's Day parties where they have, the fun balloons like we have here. They make super fun treats. They do all these fun things to just really celebrate and enjoy spending time with their friends. Something I saw, they did like a Galentine's paint and sip night at home where they all painted, or fun things like that. So as you can see, we are having our own Galentine's Day party here. So we all brought something. So I'm going to kick things off. I decided to make us a fun little beverage to celebrate our Galentines. So in here I have lemonade that I put edible glitter in. It's a little hard to see, but to make it fun. But then I wanted to make something to show you guys kind of the process. So we have a video that we'll play along with this if you're listening or watching on YouTube of me making it. So I made us a lavender simple syrup where I basically just, boiled sugar and water, and then I added in our lavender buds. And then I saw on good old handy dandy TikTok that to turn it purple is you add butterfly pea flower and you kind of boil it into with the lavender after the lavender seeps a little. So you can actually see the glitter better.
There's glitter
in the lemonade. Yeah. I bought edible glitter on handy dandy Amazon. And then I just got some cotton candy to top it off, give us some more, sugar, a little snack.
So cute.
And then there you go. You have a Galentine's Day beverage.
I love this.
Cheers.
I asked the ladies, could somebody bring a drink? And I'm glad that you were tasked with it because I wouldn't have been able to come up with something as fun as this.
Oh my gosh. And then a silly straw because
yummy. There's something wrong with mine. It doesn't have any vodka in it.
Oh. Well, and that's actually what's so great about this is you can easily make this a spiked lemonade.
This is really delicious. Do you know what? The color and the flavor a little bit reminds me of. Now I'm going to sound like I just love cocktails so much. I do love cocktails, but I get this gin. My friend in Australia, it's called Ink Gin, and it comes from like the West Coast, I think, and it's all these botanicals and a purpley flower, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but they infuse it, and it is so floral and just so delicious, and it's beautiful color, and it reminds me of that. Well, this is really fun.
Yeah, and then if anyone is curious, I didn't know where to get butterfly pea flower. I'd never heard of it. So this is the lavender buds that I used. And then the butterfly pea flower, I got it from just a local spice and tea shop called Spicetopia in Ventura. You can order online. But yeah, it was really great and really easy and really inexpensive.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's a really fun way to add color to drinks that's totally natural.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. No dye. No food dye.
I mean, what were we making recently? Was it like a pasta dough or something where you said get pea flour? Remember that?
Blue pasta?
It was. You know what? That'll come back to me. You wanted to get pea flour to color something.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
can't remember what it was, and all I can think of was that it was pasta.
I feel like I'm trying to think on what occasion I would have suggested that, but yes, it's if you don't mix it with an acid like lemon, it'll stay blue. So you have this really beautiful blue color, and then it turns purple with lemon or lime or any kind of acid.
Lovely. So here's my contribution to Galentine's Day.
Oh,
I want to start out by saying it was my idea. So these are salted caramel truffles. Oh. When we said we were going to make something each, I said to the girls, film yourself. I think this will be really nice so people can get an idea of like how you make it rather than just landing something on the table and saying, this is this, and then, not having an idea. So the thing about it is that on Sunday, I was doing something with George in the kitchen. I was like, I'm going to get my truffles made now. And it's a few days before we shoot. And like, this is great. I'm going to be way ahead. And then I'd made the truffles and I never filmed it.
The funny part of that is when you told us, you were like, you don't have any makeup on. I'm just like, look super casual, film it. So that's what I did.
I
And
know.
you didn't
I didn't even do it. But so the video that I have is me saying oopsies. And then halfway through, you see me like scooping it, shaping it. I dip it. But I totally forgot. And then in my head, I was like, haha, I'm going to be so ahead. There's no way the girls are making their treats on Sunday. And then today, like, a few days later, I'm then dipping them and whatever. And then I was behind in the end. But okay, so salted caramel, this is on Bigger Bolder Baking, salted caramel truffles. Truffle traditionally is cream and chocolate. If it's just a plain kind of a truffle. But with my recipe, the base is a little bit of cream, but a lot of salted caramel sauce. And you can do homemade or store-bought. You can get some really good store-bought ones out there. I have a nice one at home. I have a nice salted caramel recipe on the website. So I used that. I always have caramel sauce in my fridge, always, probably a few tubs. You just heat it up and then you add in the chocolate, you let it melt, you set it, which you can see in my video, and then you scoop. And then you can do a few different things. You can make life really easy and toss them after you shape them, toss them all in cocoa powder, which is much faster than what I decided to do at 8:30 this morning, which was individually dip them all in chocolate. And then I did put edible glitter on top to make them like fancy.
They're so fancy.
Mm-hmm.
So have a little tasty, ladies.
I want this one. This one. I'm eyeballing it.
This one.
I definitely did
Oh my God.
a little bit. No, I'll tell you what I did. I remember now. 100% unsweetened chocolate. Because of salted caramel sauce.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So it's 100% unsweetened. Except for the chocolate is 100% unsweetened.
It's like melts in my mouth. It's
yummy, right?
perfect.
It's such a good idea with the 100% unsweetened chocolate because caramel is so sweet. Yeah. And I often feel hesitant to try anything caramelly if it's not just pure caramel because it becomes too much like caramel ice cream. Well, sometimes because there's already a sweet base caramel frosting. So this is really balanced.
Nice, aren't they?
It's so good.
Don't eat anymore because these are actually Kevin's Valentine's present for tomorrow. No, I'm joking, they're not. But there you go. So that's my contribution. I have to say that, they weren't looking like stellar when I like rolled them and they're a bit lumpy and knobbly. But once you kind of, dress them up, put them on a nice plate, I have gold little wrappers there. Not too bad, right?
Not too bad.
I think it's beautiful.
Okay, Ami.
What'd you bring
Well,
us?
speaking of dressing things up, I also made truffles.
Oh, yes.
These are little treats for you guys.
Oh, my little
But
boxes.
they're not really pretty, so I put them in a pretty box.
So you hid them. Can I open it?
Yes. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the viral Dubai chocolate, which is a pistachio paste mixed with a crispy toasted phyllo, and then put into a chocolate bar.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was chocolate from Dubai is a pretty popular thing.
No, it's so what happened was I bought these beautiful heart molds that never came. So I decided instead to make truffles. So I blended pistachios and sugar. And then I made a pistachio paste. I toasted up some kunafi dough, which is like sort of a shredded phyllo dough. And you mix that together, you make a filling, and then you fill it into a bar of chocolate. And then I rolled it in some chocolate and then some cocoa powder.
I've been seeing this all over TikTok where people will make the bars and then they'll break it and you kind of see this texture on the inside. And I've been so curious. I know.
Oh my God.
Good, right?
So good.
Did you have one?
You know, yes, I've had the ones that I've made.
You want one?
Yeah, sure. I'll have one. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'll have one of your presents. And I actually, one of my husband's colleagues just went to Dubai and brought me a bar of Dubai chocolate. So I was so excited. I was like, oh, I finally get to try it. And I thought, you know what? This is what I'm going to make for my Galentine Day celebration.
I love the crunch.
I love, what did you do to get the center? How did you dip them? Because the center's so soft. Did you freeze the center and then dip them?
Yeah, so the pistachio paste itself was very soft. And so I froze it, but then it froze kind of solid. I scooped them up with an ice cream scooper and then put them back in the fridge so they firmed up again. And then I rolled them so that they were a nice tight ball. And then while they were still very cold, I dipped them in a little bit of, I do this dipping where I put some melted chocolate in my hand and then I put the cold ball of pistachio paste in my hand and roll it all in chocolate and then dip it in cocoa powder. So you've got this really thin coating of chocolate.
That's what you have. I mean, it's, oh, wow. Like a nice
so
lovely little thin shell all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was delicious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like my truffles are garbage truffles.
Oh my gosh, no.
God, they're so good.
No, because they're so different. Yours are like this creamy, dense chocolate.
Also, they're beautiful. I mean, these are like kind of, you know.
Yeah, she had to hide hers in a box. Yours are on a gold plate. No, it was like
great.
perfect balance. So now I want to talk about the star of Valentine's Day, and that really is chocolate. So Taste of Home conducted a poll of the 10 best boxes of chocolates, but I thought we could just talk about a few of them. If you want to read the whole list, check out the show notes. We have the Taste of Home article there. But the best overall box of chocolate is Compartes. Am I saying that right? Compartes?
I never said it out loud, so I'm not
never
really sure.
either. But it's 20 different flavors per box. According to the poll, it's fairly priced, and each chocolate has a unique design. It's sleek, gift-ready packaging, smooth, melt-in-your-mouth texture, and a no-melt guarantee. The only con that they had is that the flavor guide is only on the website. So I guess that means, when you get the actual box of chocolates, it doesn't tell you what they are, which I think can be kind of dangerous if you have like a nut allergy and you get a box of chocolate.
Or liquor. You don't want a liquor one.
Yeah. Another one on here, which won best variety, is Liana Days, which Gemma, you were saying you actually really like this one.
Yeah, because you can get, these are European.
Oh, okay.
They're from Belgium. And I remember you would see the little shops around Ireland. And I remember there was one in Waterford where I went to school. And I remember I must have been like 14 or 15, but going in and like buying like 2 chocolates. And back then I'd say they were like €1.50 each, like per chocolate. Like they're expensive, but they're fresh chocolates. And what I mean like that is that they do have to be kept in a fridge. They're made of fresh cream. Those are my kind of truffles, the fresh ones. I just think the flavor... and the texture is so much better, and you kind of get like creamier centers, and it's less like pralines, which can happen a lot with truffles. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of praline truffles, and they can be kind of just like hard and not so interesting. I prefer fresh chocolates. Those are really special, and I think they still exist. You'll see the little shops around Europe. Because I think I was in Amsterdam over the summer and I saw a shop, which I was kind of surprised by because I've never seen them in the US.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pros here is that they're and it's an extensive variety. They're beautifully wrapped, 3 layers of chocolate, high quality filling to suit many preferences. And then the only con is it may be a little bit more on the pricier side.
Yeah, like I remember my mom, like it was a special chocolate, and I remember like my mom would get them for hostess parties. Like a family, somebody would bring them over as a box of chocolates for her, and they had to be kept in the fridge. And they have this beautiful seal of like this Greek woman, I think. I'm pretty sure that's right. And they're just, I know, it's really special, very fancy. And I think when I think back to the time of like my mom having dinner parties and stuff, like I think of those chocolates.
Mm-hmm. The last one I want to talk about from this list is the most beautiful, which is Sheila Kern's chocolates. The pros are their gorgeous, artistic designs, incredible flavors, combines classic and exotic options, arrives fresh and cold, and avoids overly sweet flavors.
I would agree with all of that. I mean, her chocolates are so beautiful. They're so colorful. You open the box, and instead of seeing like a box of like, brown, delicious delights, you have all these colors and shapes, and there's something so visually fun about a box of chocolates, no matter what. And then when you get this really beautiful box, they're really good. They're not overly sweet. She puts in all these different flavors, so you get a real nice mix of traditional and exotic flavors. And they're just, I mean, who doesn't love a box of chocolates, no matter what? And they're great. I think there's so much with packaging, as you talked about with the chocolates from that your mom used to love, and it's just like there's something really festive about what you're putting around it, not just what you're consuming.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to this list, I know we've taken a look at it. Are there any other chocolates, or do you have a chocolate that you like to get for Valentine's Day?
I don't really know. I don't often get chocolates for Valentine's Day. Like Kevin will buy me vouchers and stuff. I will say one of my favorite, these are not fresh chocolates, like fresh that have to be kept in the fridge, like they say here, fresh and cold. But there's a chocolate shop in Ireland called Butler's, which is like a really famous, there's lots of really great chocolatiers in Ireland. There's Butler's that is, they're dotted all around the country. There's one, if you've ever flown out of Dublin Airport, which is one of our 3 airports. They have a shop there. They make amazing hot chocolate. And with every purchase of a drink or something, you get a truffle. Everybody does. They've done it since forever.
I actually think...
Did you go there?
I think I did. You said it's in the Dublin Airport?
It's in the Dublin Airport.
I did that.
It's one of like 2 places to get coffee.
Yeah.
They're really good chocolates. I've been having them since I was like a teenager. I've been getting them. I've been getting them since I was a teenager. And like one of the special things is that you do get like your little truffle. And I always like save it for the airplane or whatever. But it's just really nice, really yummy chocolate.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ami? Do you have one?
Well, I have a couple of favorites. I love Toysher, which there's a shop here in Beverly Hills. I discovered them when I was living in New York. I love Toysher chocolates. They're just creamy and smooth and really elegant. And also Alain Ducasse, which I don't think you can get in the States, but I went to his, he has a number of shops in Paris. And the last time I was lucky enough to go visit Paris, I came home with a box, and my husband goes and travels there fairly often. So now that I know about Alain Ducasse, he is not allowed to leave the country without a box for me.
Well, I hope he went to Paris before Valentine's Day and is getting you a box. I also have a shop in Beverly Hills that I really like to get chocolate from. It's called Edelweiss Chocolate. And Frankie had gotten me chocolates there a few Valentine's Days ago. And what I think is so fun about them is they're just like in fun little shapes. I'm not 100% sure if they have truffles. I've always just gotten like their little like pieces of chocolate.
Yeah.
And they're shaped like lips, or there's hearts, and like they have fun for like every occasion. You can get them in the shapes of presents at Christmas time, or in the shape of, they even have like poker chip shape. So it's like a fun, unique chocolate.
Yeah.
So that one's mine. But now that we've kind of talked about chocolate and the chocolates that we like, I want to really just take a deep dive into all things Valentine's Day. So I have some fun facts about Valentine's Day I thought we could start with as we get into the mix here. So there is an article, 30 Things You Didn't Know About Valentine's Day. If you'd like to check out the whole article, you can read it in the show notes. But I have the top few that I thought were really interesting. Top facts about Valentine's Day. So the first heart-shaped box of chocolate was in 1861, which blew my mind that it was so long ago. Today, over 36 million heart-shaped boxes are sold annually, amounting to 58 million pounds of chocolate. The then the next fun fact is the birth of conversation hearts was in 1866. So, like the little hearts with like the...
Yeah, I've never... Isn't that funny? Did you know they were called conversation hearts? Is that a thing?
No, what are they called?
They're love hearts. The candies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always call them love hearts. But then when we were when you mentioned this for the episode, I didn't know. I've never heard them called conversation hearts before.
Yeah. No, I can't even think of what I called them.
I think I just called them Valentine candy hearts, but I have heard the term conversation hearts before.
I used to love those as kids, but we'd get them in the shop with our pocket money, like love hearts. They're so tasty. Well, they were so tasty. I don't know about today.
No, you'd probably find them shocking.
I would definitely find it shocking. As an 11-year-old, I thought it was literally the best thing ever.
I never loved them as a child. But what's interesting about the conversation hearts is that, do you remember when we couldn't get them?
No.
A few years ago, there was like
a
shortage on conversation hearts, and they were nowhere to be found.
Was that because the company went out of business?
I think so, or sold, or something happened. Yeah. It was in 2018. Yeah, it sold to Spangler Candy. And then because they had, it says here, manufacturing challenges, that they weren't available for an entire year, which I just it's funny to me that this candy is so popular for one holiday, right? You don't see these candy hearts. Like there's no conversation presents. There's no conversation clovers for St. Patrick's Day. And then they were just gone for a whole year. I don't know. Yeah. It was just kind of funny to me.
Yeah, well, they're such a ubiquitous Valentine's Day treat, whether or not you like them. They're just kind of sweet. Yeah. It's like candy canes on Christmas.
Or
it's
like
how
candy
often
corns.
Yeah,
it's just
for
to kind of get them.
Yeah, do you really enjoy them? Do you really love to eat a candy cane? Do you like candy corns? No, but do you like to see them around those holidays? Yes, you do.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. So a fun fact here, I wanted to ask you both what country you think consumes the most chocolate.
Switzerland. No, wait, that doesn't sound right. No, I'm gonna leave my answer like that, but maybe.
I don't know, America.
So the answer is Switzerland. It consumes the most chocolate, which is funny because I know when we were originally talking, you were like, I'm pretty sure Ireland.
I did think Ireland was one of them. And I can't remember why, but I heard that at one point that Ireland was one of the biggest consumers of chocolate. And like I said, we do have amazing chocolatiers. I don't know if it's because of the day, like where are they getting the chocolate from in the dairy? Like I've never looked into like where they get the chocolate from. But I just said Switzerland because they're such huge producers of chocolate.
Yes.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that they're the biggest consumers. But I suppose if you had something really good in your country that you were exporting, you probably eat a lot of it. Yeah. Like we have a lot of we export Guinness. We drink a lot of Guinness.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So for Valentine's Day coming up, I wanted to talk about some things on how you like to celebrate it, things you can do at home, different things like that. So we've talked a lot about things that you can buy. Obviously, you can buy boxes of chocolate. We've talked about, some desserts that you can make, but I kind of wanted to go into like a deeper dive of what are some things you can do at home to make Valentine's Day special.
So what we do, and I will admit it's not special to Valentine's Day, we do this for my birthday, which is recently. We do it for New Year's Eve. We don't tend to go out on big holidays, like I said, New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day, anything like that. We'll always celebrate prior. We order, we get steaks. We might make homemade pasta or do really nice mashed potato, vegetables. Usually for Valentine's Day, I'll make Kevin a dessert that I know he loves. He loves pumpkin, even it's not the season, but he loves pumpkin. He loves certain chocolate recipes. I'll often make something that he loves for dessert. And then nice wine and stuff. And because we have George and we include him and it's nice. And then also, in school, Valentine's Day is a big thing and they all get gifts and cards and candy. And so it's nice to we do make a little bit more of a big deal about it because of George.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. So, my story with Valentine's Day is I think I spent a lot of formative years in my younger days single on Valentine's Day. And so I think I developed this sort of cynicism around it. And I was just like, oh, it's this contrived holiday. And, why do we need these flowers and chocolate? And so that sort of carried over into my relationship with my husband. I'm just like, oh, it's this contrived holiday. So then I found that I was getting this sort of FOMO where I was like, well, everybody's getting like flowers and chocolate. And I've like trained my husband to like know that I think this is like really, so anyway, fast forward to like us now having children, I decided I didn't want to pass that cynicism on to them. I wanted to make it really special and fun. So what I do is the night after they go to sleep the night before, I decorate the whole kitchen. I put lots of like pretty like pink and red hearts all over the kitchen. I, maybe balloons if I've thought of it. And then I'll make them a really special breakfast. Even if it's a school morning, I'll wake up early, they'll get pancakes or they'll get something really sweet. And then on their breakfast plate, they get a little box of assorted chocolates. And I always try to get them something really fancy and just maybe like 4, but just something very special. There's some like local wonderful places to get chocolate around us. And I'll write them a little poem. So they get like a sweet little poem. And then what I also do is I make a Valentine's Day coupon book, and they can like tear out the little coupons, and they're redeemable whenever they want for the rest of the year. And it's things like 1 donut, 1 ice cream cone, 1 dinner of your choice, 1 massage, like a back rub, or, 1, for my, I'll gear it to my daughter or my son. So, for my son, it might be like 1, family adventure with mom. And my daughter might be like, we'll go have a pedicure or something like that. So like, anyway, there's probably about 10 or 12 fun little things that they can redeem through the year. And my kids I've been doing this since they were really little. My kids are now 13 and 15, and every year they still look forward to the coupon book, and they can't wait for the coupon book. They save their redeemed coupons, and they have a little box.
Idea.
It's so cute, and I just love it.
You hear about people doing that for couples, for partners, but you don't think about it for kids. I might steal that idea. George would love that.
They love it. They love it, and they save these things, which just makes me happy. They have my son has this little box in one of his drawers in his desk of all his old Valentine's poems and coupons, and he'll show me, oh, remember that? And
so sweet.
Yeah.
Do the coupons change as they get older? Like
some
more
are the
adults?
same.
Yeah.
Like I think they always want an ice cream cone and a donut, and those get used pretty fast. And I'm pretty controlled with sweets for them, so it's really special for them to just like randomly say, I'm redeeming my coupon for a donut. Like, okay. And the rule for me is that I can't say no, even if they've already had something. If they have a coupon, they get to have it whenever they want.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, now it includes Starbucks because they all like Starbucks now. It's just different things like that.
When do we get our coupon books, huh?
I'll find a coupon book.
Naomi coupon. She can't say no.
I could do a donut.
Yeah. Whip it out.
Yeah,
you can
right.
give us ice cream. Well, Gemma, I noticed on Bigger Bolder Baking, you actually have some recipes that work, I think, perfectly for Valentine's Day, and that's like dinner for 2 or meals for 2 or things like that. Can you tell us about some of them?
So some recipes that do really well for us are like single recipes, single serve, or like for, small crowds. And then for 2, I have a lava cake for 2, which is really fun. The mug cake, some of those recipes are for 2, and there could be like a chocolate mug cake, red velvet mug cake. So one year, a video that was really popular, Kevin and I, both in the video, made a tiramisu cheesecake. And it was really delicious. It was so good. But by the time we were finished, and we had like, you can only get a tin that's so small, right? It's going to be 6 inches. And then I put ladyfingers around the edges, and it ended up being like definitely for 6 people. But that was really delicious. And then I have a lot of like truffle recipes, different types of truffles, white truffles, ruby chocolate truffles, recipes that you're not making all year round, but they're definitely for special occasions. I actually have a really good one that I was going to make for my truffle, which was, do you remember the champagne truffles that we made? I just didn't have any champagne open. Mm-hmm. We made them for New Year's last year. Just traditional truffle, but then you put in some champagne at the end, and those are so delicious. Mm-hmm. So something that like, kind of, you don't make all year round. It takes a little bit of extra work, and that effort, I think, knowing that somebody put in that effort, I think really, makes it like extra special.
I want to actually bring up one dessert that's not on your website, but it's in the second book, your second book, that we made a granita, which is kind of a cold dessert for February, but it was a rosé and raspberry granita. And it is so elegant and it's so good. And it's one of those desserts that are really great for, it makes more than enough for two people, but it's one of those desserts that's great for adults because it has a lot of wine in it. You can't really serve it for kids. It's very special. It's really simple. And it's
beautiful too, remember? It's this beautiful, vibrant color.
Yeah, it's this like raspberry red. And it is just those two ingredients, and it's so surprisingly delicious and really wonderful. So you can find it in Gemma's second book, and it is great.
Yeah, that's a lovely one too.
Something that you said that I thought was so perfect is that for the tiramisu, you and Kevin made it together. And also, like, what a fun way to celebrate Valentine's Day is to, make something with your significant other, like have that time to like bake. I know we like all to bake, but like to share that love of baking with your significant other, I think is like, I wouldn't have thought of that, but I think that's really fun and special.
Yeah, he gets one video a year and that's it.
Well, I think ultimately it's about just time you can spend with somebody, like you make them a special treat, you go on a walk, here in LA where it's warm, you can take be outside. It's bake together, if you're sharing and making that tiramisu together. I think there's that togetherness is what is the most important part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is nice. It's fun.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing all that insight on Valentine's Day, how you like to celebrate it, and fun ways to enjoy the holiday. Let us know what you are doing this upcoming Valentine's Day. We'd love to hear it. And now we're going to hear from one of our correspondents and get their thoughts on chocolate for the holiday.
Hi Gemma and Need to Know, it's Hambit from the YouTube channel Hambit Show. Valentine's is coming up, so I wanted to talk about chocolate. In terms of what type of chocolate I like to work with, I prefer working with dark chocolate simply because A, I like the cocoa taste of dark chocolate, and B, because dark chocolate sets much faster than milk or white chocolate. It speeds up the whole work process and thus gives an efficient workflow. Now, one interesting fact about chocolate. White chocolate isn't actually real chocolate because it doesn't contain any cocoa solids. White chocolate is actually a mixture of cocoa butter, sugar, cream, milk, and vanilla flavoring. Interesting, right? In terms of tempering chocolate at home, I think the most realistic method is the bain-marie. It's because it's not easy to find marble tabletop in a regular home kitchen. It's great if you have one, then please use it, but if you don't, bain-marie would probably be the best option. Just be careful not to get any water in your chocolate. Seeding method is also an option, but you do need to work in larger batches, so I think bain-marie would be best. So, what's my favorite chocolate dessert? My favorite is the chocolate lava cake. It's meant to be served as soon as it's baked, so it's got that molten center, hence the lava cake. You can really taste the rich, intense chocolate flavor. Yum. Well, happy Valentine's everybody, and see you next time. Thank you very much.
We're back with the Bold Baking Hotline where we answer questions directly from you. And these questions are really exciting. They're actually directly in correlation with some of your recipes. So I'm going to jump right into it here. This is a question from your Ruby Chocolate Truffles. Can you recommend an alternative for freeze-dried raspberries? Marilyn Warren wants to know.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know what those are, they're my Ruby Chocolate Truffles, which was such a big thing a few years ago. And it's a kind of almost a raspberry flavored, like it has notes of like raspberry flavored, like white chocolate. And then I ground up freeze-dried raspberries and I rolled them in the truffle in that. So she's saying that, and they can be hard to find and they're expensive. So another tip is to roll them, just melt some white chocolate and roll them in the white chocolate. And if you wanted to do a little bit, and then just put them, shake off the excess, put them on a plate to set. If you wanted to put a little gold leaf on top or a little bit of like edible glitter to make them like a little bit extra fancy or something, that would be nice. But yeah, or take, any of the excess. You could take some excess ruby chocolate and do a drizzle over the tops to show that there was ruby chocolate on the inside. Something like that, yeah.
I like that. Our next question is in reference to your homemade chocolate bars. And it says, if I would like to make strawberry-filled chocolate, would you suggest just pureeing strawberry and putting it in between the layers of chocolate? From Sure Dagan.
So if you just puree strawberries, it's going to be super liquidy. And actually, although strawberries themselves can be sweet, when put right up against chocolate, they'll end up tasting a little sour. They won't taste so nice. So what I would do is you could make a quick strawberry jam. We have a recipe on Bigger Bolder Baking for a microwave strawberry jam that's super quick, and it just takes strawberries and sugar, and you can cook it in the microwave. You can also do it stovetop, and that'll make it nice and thick and sweet. And once that's made and fully cooled down, I would use that. The other thing you have to be careful of is even once you make a jam, it's still going to be pretty liquidy. So you, instead of chocolate bars, I might even suggest if you have smaller molds to make sort of more bonbon shape, you can coat the molds in the chocolate and then let that freeze, get hard. Then you pour a little bit of your strawberry filling, not all the way to the top, but a little bit, so that you have a little bit of a lip of chocolate around the edge. Let that get cold, and then you top it with a seal, like a lid of chocolate, and let that seal up. And then you've got this like wonderful, almost liquid center, but it'll be sweet enough to balance the taste of the chocolate, but not too runny.
Yeah, any kind of chocolatier, any kind of chocolates that you buy that have a fruit filling like that, they're always cooked down. If you watch these videos on Instagram, they're cooked down into a paste. They're mixed with sugar. They might be made into a truffle base or a sugar base, like a jammy base, like Ami said. You can never just put in the pureed fruit into the middle of something. It just won't work.
The other thing that you'll run into if you just use pureed fruit is that there's a lot of water content in pureed fruit. And then if you put melted chocolate right on top of that, you run into the chocolate seizing.
Yeah, it'll just go different directions. It's not going to work.
Right.
Well, thank you both so much. And thank you to everyone for listening. This brings us to the end of our episode. We hope you enjoy your Galentine's Day, your Valentine's Day, whatever you are celebrating this week. Please make sure to like, subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can catch every episode of Need to Know on YouTube.
From HRN and the Bold Baking Network, you are watching the Need to Know Baking Entertainment podcast.